Hi, welcome to another journey with the Shaman. Today, ooh, March 5th, 2023. Don't know if anybody's going to join me today, but that's okay. I was going to do a video anyways, and I thought, well, why not do a live stream? Same thing. So today I wanted to have a little discussion about being alone. Right now, I think a lot of us are finding that we need to be alone. Um, I've been dealing with a lot of frustration because things aren't moving as fast as I want. For example, hi, Chosen. Welcome. Can you hear me fine? I can maybe crank this up a little bit. There. Okay. I don't know if that's any better. What I just say I wanted to talk about today was about being alone, that it's okay to be alone. Um, People don't know what to do with themselves. I mean, I know there's some other people I do know personally who have are alone, really alone. The fact that they either are divorced, separated, the kids are growing up and gone, or didn't have, so very isolated, especially now. And to say that I understand that, I don't. I can't because I've never been there. Closest thing I had was a couple of years ago when my wife was in the hospital for about 180 days. That's the closest I ever got. It's not the same though because I still had something to do. Still had a place to go, and so I've never really been alone. Um, Thanks, so thanks for letting me know. Sounds good. In my head, all I hear is like I got a pail over my head, and it's all echoey, and it's just don't bang on it because then I might answer it, and I may have another issue. Um, but recently, I've been finding myself wanting to be alone more and more. Um, we've kind of, isolated ourselves by trying to, let people see things the way we see them, trying to help them. That kind of isolated us. We didn't understand why they didn't understand. So for us, that created frustration, which isolated us even more. Um, but I think that was God's purpose, His design, because right now what we're dealing with is we're going through um, a change, a DNA change that we're integrating into something different. Now, I don't know if you guys want to believe any of that. I truly don't. I can't. All I can tell you is do research. If you want to question more about it, I can, just contact me and I'll send you the resources that I've got, and you make your own conclusions. I'm not going to make your conclusions for you. These are my conclusions or how I kind of see things. But I think a lot of this was deliberate. You know, I mean, it was from the dark forces perspective that they were trying to isolate us because that's part of the control. You want to isolate people, keep isolating, keep separating them, put one group against the other, keep isolating. We have for years, decades, we had the blacks and the whites, and then when 9/11, we had the Muslims, and then we started separating them, and then during World War II, after Pearl Harbor, we started separating Orientals from the Europeans or non-Orientals, whether they were from Japan or not, didn't matter. You're Asian. It was close enough. And I kind of know because where I live, we actually had those kind of settlements in this area. Um, and they called them internment camps. But people were not allowed to work. So again, separation is more and more. But their intent was to create fear, But the separation that we're feeling, I think, now is something that we created for ourselves to get away from the fear. Um, this is kind of a deep subject, but I think that this is part of the divine plan to separate us so that we can be more in tune with God. Because now that, like myself, I'm even more so separated because of the syndrome that I'm having in my crown chakra being extremely active, and it makes it's difficult for me to hear. So I don't watch TV. I don't watch videos. What I've been doing now is just listening to meditation. Actually, been listening to um, Gregorian chants. That seems to, for me, just relieves that pressure. Then I can think and relax and kind of continue. So I'm doing walking around with the headless or a cordless headset on, listening to chant while I do things. Um, that seems to help. I heard recently too that the demons don't like the chant, Gregorian chant. I don't know if that's true. But if you're a demon and you don't like, maybe that's why you don't like it. If you don't like it, maybe you're a demon. You just don't know it yet. So listen to Gregorian chant, and if you kind of go, well, it's not that bad, you're not a demon. um, but we're still, we're still trying to separate ourselves. I mean, they're trying to separate us even more. We have the Democrats, Republicans, liberals, agenda, the Green Deal. Everything was to separate. Well, the COVID was to separate us into smaller groups, even now that's individualized. And that was all done on the dark cabal. But what if it was God's purpose? To isolate us so that we can channel into Him, so that we don't have no other distractions going on around us. We don't have the 3D evil world bombarding us constantly, because we're starting to see through some of the lies now. We're starting to recognize, well, that's not really a healthy thing. Why am I watching this? And those little lights are starting to click on. So you're starting to understand what it is you're seeing. And then the more you recognize, the more, again, isolated you become, to the point where you're just to yourself. You don't want to talk to anybody. You don't want to engage with anybody. You know, and so you just tune in and you just find that inner self. So now you're struggling with your I am. Who are you? Why did you get yourself in this position? How did you end up here? What does this all mean to me now? I mean, this is some of the thought processes I'm getting, and I can't imagine anybody else not getting something of that nature. You know, and we get to that point where God says, "Okay, now, who are you?" This is the time that we can just take a breath and go, "My God, you're right. All that other stuff is irrelevant. Really, all the trophies, all the degrees, where I work, who I work with, it's all irrelevant, because what matters right now is, who am I?" And you remove all that crap, and I don't know who I am. So we need to isolate and quiet so that we can find that inner self and find out how really marvelous, you really are as an individual. You don't need somebody to tell you that you're great. You don't need somebody to tell you that, you don't need a plaque to say that you've done this. You know you've done it. You know you've lived that life. You don't need to have somebody reward you for it, because then it's not for the enjoyment of being the best. It's for the accolade or for the ego. And that actually tears you down. It separates you more from God, because that's what they want. They don't want you focused on God. They want you focused on everything else and all the stuff they can give you. And even by separating stuff, I was getting really philosophical. But when you start keep separating groups and keep separating groups, well, then your mind is attached to all these little groups. So your activities, you're not focused on just the human. You're focused on, oh, I don't know, I want to make sure what I say because I don't want to offend this guy. He's a colored person, and I don't want to offend him. And so you don't really say, you watch your tongue so you don't say the right thing. And you end up just acting like a jerk because you don't know what else to do. Um, little tidbit how you get out of that. Just say, I'm sorry, but because of the pressure of social media, I don't know how the hell to act, so I'm going to act like myself. If you don't like it, I'm sorry. And just go on. You know, um, I don't know why I got off on that, but what I'm finding for myself is I'm finding comfort in bringing God into my isolation. Just having him there, thinking about him. You don't need to have, if you want to go through Bible studies and look up, things in the media and so, on YouTube and, there's some very good, things that are out there. And that's okay. That's what you should be doing. But then you start thinking of where is God in this? Where is God in all of this? And start focusing on where is He. Don't worry about you because you're an observer. That's your purpose anyway. You're here to observe what's happening. You're here to interact with the world and observe what your experience is, and then you give that back to God anyways. So don't worry about. Just observe what's happening. Don't worry about your destination. I got these groups that are looking for their soulmates, their star seeds or their soul seeds or whatever they want to call it, their divine companions. And by looking, you're actually focusing the energy into the hunt, not into the finding. So God's got that perfect person waiting for you. There's nothing you really got to do, really. And in fact, concentrate and try not to do that. But figure out, live in this moment. What is happening around you? As we get more isolated and we're understanding who we are, and we start accepting that part of us, and we can only do that once we're alone. Okay? And so once you get that focus of who you are, what you think you are, that creates an energy change that sends out signals all over the place. Your divine self is going to pick up on that. You don't have a choice. It's going to fly out, and whoever that person is, they're going to pick up in that energy, and they're going to come back, and they're going to follow it. They don't know why. They don't know where it's going to take them. They'll follow a different journey, but it'll be the journey that brings it to the match of what you're doing. And I've had these experiences with people. Some of them, you know, sometimes you get somebody you're struggling with a concept of some type. I just talked to somebody about this. And as you're thinking about it, almost out of the blue, you get a contact from somebody you weren't thinking of. Maybe somebody you don't even know, but they just happen to be that one resource. They gave you the information that you needed, and you got it, and off they went. That happens, but you need to not look for it. I mean, you get to the point where you start recognizing it more, then you can start creating environments where you can figure out how they get created, and then you create the environment that allows it to happen. And it takes time, and the more you do it, the more you understand how to do it. The more you recognize it, the more you're able to manipulate it. And to do that, it's just simple as this. First of all, it's when you're doing it, you want to think whatever it is you're doing, it's for the benefit of somebody else, benefit of humanity at some level. And have a divine purpose, and what you need out of it, what you get out of it, is secondary at best. God will take care of you. But just the joy itself of being able to do something for somebody and have them just accept it as a gift, and you can see how it benefited them. What a joy, that reward that is in itself. I don't know if anybody's ever really experienced that kind of situation where you've had that impact, and it's just a subtle impact, and you look back, and, and I've had those kind of experiences, things I've done in ministries. Um, some of them I share, but there's people that had huge impacts on me from a ministerial point of view that I won't forget what they've done for me. But there's like times where, like I was talking in one of my other videos, where you get that inner child, you get in contact with the inner child. Again, that's through a meditation of self, understanding who you are. Again, your connection with God in that prayer. But it was because of Father Kieran, that minister, that he said it to me a long time ago, and I always remembered it, but I didn't really ever figure out how to put it into practice that I did in that meditation. So it's going to have a huge impact, but it's something he planted in me 20 plus years ago. Um, and and I've done that with other people. I know I've had people contact me after so many years, and they go, "You have no idea what you've done to help me and to take care of this." Um, and it's a great feeling. And even like these videos, I don't know if who's watching, who sees these most of the time. I get some very positive reactions. Some people, uh, they I'm gonna say, they sink in with what I'm saying. If you want to say, I don't want to say they're picking up on my vibe. No, my vibe is my vibe, and yours is yours. They may sink for a little bit, but won't follow my vibe. It's mine, and but if something resonates with you, and you kind of, that makes sense, and it helps you, and it gets your mind thinking of a different direction for yourself that is more in favor to you, what you want, what you need, it fits your vibe, then so be it. Got a little off tech, but again, by doing it, you're giving your power to me. Then I don't want your power. I got my own. I'm selfish with my power. I give my power who I want to, when I want to, and in a way I want to. And it's the same thing. I would, if you offer me your power, I will take it, but it's not my purpose. It's I'll accept it because it depends on the intent. But if I feel the intent isn't honest, I'll push it back. And I don't need that. It's not because I'm angry or bitter. Just whatever's going on at that point, the energy just doesn't work, and I'm okay. Um, what else we got? Chosen still floating around. You have anything you want to add, Chosen, or ask? Well, you're good. Thumbs up. Um, Again, how you got into your world. Just think about it. It's all. Where's God in this? If you look, you'll find it. Hey, if you look, you'll find it. It's not hard. It doesn't take, you know, somebody to polish it all up and get you all ready and get you all dressed and right and put tie on and get you all set up for the best treatment and go. All you gotta do is just be aware. I mean, I like listening to chant. I always did, especially Gregorian chants. Little confession: when I started the men's choir, that actually was one of my goals, was to do Gregorian chant with the choir. We did it a couple times. That should be enough of an answer on how well we did. But that's kind of one of the reasons I wanted to form a men's choir, not just a choir, because I wanted to do the Gregorian chants, at least attempt it, and we did. We attempted it. It was, people liked it, but we weren't happy with it, and we decided we didn't harmonize. We didn't have enough direction to harmonize our choir better. And we didn't have a music. We had people that played music, but they weren't choir, aficionados, how to blend voices and how to create harmonizing between individual voices and that part we didn't know how to do. Could we have been? But I was asked to join one. There's one in the local up here several years ago, but problem is I didn't know how to read music at all, and so that would have been a big problem. And I don't know if I had perfect. Excuse me. I don't think I had perfect pitch either. I don't know if you. But you think you would have at least one of those? I had neither one. I didn't have perfect pitch, and I didn't know how to read music. I just like to sing. So, anyways, but as we go through this change, your people are going to start looking for you. They're going to. I think this is just a short term. They're getting into this isolation. When we get to a certain point, and I'm getting this now, but you're going to have people out of the blue contact you. You don't know. They just say things like, "I just picked. I don't know. Why did you talk? Why are you looking for me today? I don't know. I saw a picture of you, and I just thought I wanted to say hi. There's something in it's. I think it'll be kind of strange. We're just going to know. Will it be telekinesis? I don't know. I have no idea if that's what we're going to experience. Um, Maybe that's what's going on in this thing. Is it changing me so I can read minds? I mean, I feel the emotions now for a large area. Because I know I'm a high level empath. I'm not going to deny it. Just, and if you don't know what an empath is, that's somebody that just, I sense the emotions of others. I can anticipate their emotions and feel what they're feeling through a conversation. And distance doesn't seem to matter, which is really strange. I mean, I've had this kind of connection with people in Nigeria. I've had it in somebody in the UK, Britain, several years ago, South America, over the United States. It's just strange, and I welcome them because they're friends. We're like-minded. There's a reason that we came together. There's a reason. Thanks, Chosen. Yeah, there's a reason that we are coming together. These individuals like this, and I think that we're all empaths to a certain point. We're drawn towards each other because and God will just clear the path. We don't need to. You don't need to make a path. You don't need to look over the fence and go, okay, that's where I want to go. And then you have to figure out. Now you have to figure out the path to get there. In the meantime, God's already got one done. His is more enjoyable. It's more loving, more interesting. There's less stress because there's no real goal except to enjoy the moment. And the destination, you'll get there when you get there. And if that's with that divine someone, then it is with that divine someone. And that's okay. And if it's not at that point, but you'll meet up. And I don't know how this is going to play out. There's people now that are joining me on my path. And I think it's beautiful. I like how they're coming in. People, we're kind of like-minded. We have similar understanding of things that we don't have to go into a lot of detail to explain stuff, even finishing each other's sentences. We're having the exact same thought, and it's, how long is that going to last? I don't know. It's God's will. But until then, I enjoy it because that's what it's for. It's not, like the way that we had it before with our linear thinking that everything had to follow A to B. You have this relationship, you got to do this, and and it goes in, and it puts so much pressure on just being yourselves because you don't know what the goal is, and so you don't want to, if you think, well, I want this, and but I don't know really if this is what that other person wants, or if they're going to just say, yeah, it is, or it isn't. Don't worry about that. I mean, God may separate it again for who knows, but God may say, okay, we have you here for a while because there's things we need you both to do together, And you're going to. And then God will say, okay, we're going to separate you now. And you have things you need to each do individually. Will he bring it back again? It's possible. Won't he? Don't know. But what matters is that the whole thing is done in love. It doesn't have to be bitter and angry and jealousy and hatred. And that's all the 3D or the linear thinking that we have to have these solid commitments. Um, and I'm not trying to disrespect, but I'm also being open to minded to, if we're going to be individual sovereigns, what that means is exactly that. We are responsible for our own joy and our own happiness. Being an empath the way I am, that's very difficult not to give that to other people, because I do. I do it freely. I do it because it's my gift of love to others. But in the meantime, I've been hurting myself. I've not been giving myself that love. I've been giving it to others. And in doing so, because I don't love myself, you end up damaging yourselves. You end up hurting yourself in small ways or big ways, either through alcohol abuse or self-deprecation, or not taking care of your own health, or because you're giving everything to everybody else and you're not worthy. And that's kind of a thing I have to deal with as being an empath at the level I am. And it's hard to change that, because the heart is just, it is what it is. But I need to learn how to, and I'm still learning to go love myself. I need to put myself as a priority, and I need to stand before God and have Him look and ask me the question: who are you? Or the other way around, I can stand before Him and stand before the Father and go, who am I? Who was I meant to be? And I think the only time we can get to that level, the question, is through real isolation. And I think we're going through that. A lot of us are going through that now. I am. I know my friend Chosen is. Lots, and I know a lot of other ones. I have some people who are just plain absolutely isolated. And they're trying to reach out for others, but they're stuck. I know a lot of them in the bigger cities, in middle of New York City, or in San Diego, in that snowstorm. And these people, they're just locked in, and they don't know what to do, because we've never been isolated before like this. So again, going back, I think all of this with the COVID, through this isolation and all that, it was all designed purpose to get us to a point so we can focus on ourselves again. Because if we are going to evolve into the true version of ourselves, how are we going to know what that is if we don't even know who we are? For who we are as an individual, what God wanted us to be. We are all brought here with a purpose. There is nothing that we aren't doing now isn't for a purpose. What is my purpose? These messages? I don't know. Maybe my purpose is to trigger this message to one individual who will change everything. Don't know. Again, it's God's will. And so we go on the journey and understand that once it's all said and done, there's only one true judge. And we need to stand before Him and go, who am I? I can't wait. He says, you're the I am. You're my light. You've been cleansed. You're no longer gray or dim. You've got my full light living in you. We are His reflection, people. We aren't the source of light, but we're the reflection of it. We're His reflection of His divine grace. We are to live in His image and reflection out into the world because that's what we are created to be. We are the reflection of the light. We are God's purpose, and we all have one. Some of us are came into this. One of the things I was thinking about. Something else question it challenged me is, well, if reincarnation, and if you come back, if you know that you're going to be coming back into this world and you're going to be coming back into an aborted body, why would you do that? I don't know. Maybe because you wanted to be aborted. Maybe that was your past life was an abortion doctor, and you wanted to experience what you've done. Or maybe you're a mother who aborted several children, and then when you were reincarnated, you became one of those. Not as not as a punishment, but so you to learn to experience. Kind of puts a different attitude on abortions, doesn't it, when you think of it that way? Yeah, we're okay. We're just. You can't tell me what to do with my body. Yeah, I know. I get that. I'm not telling you what to do with the body. I'm telling you what not to do to that other body that's in you. Because you're the one that destroyed it or considering it. See, this that isolates us again. Separation of between people. And so they say, well, why would this happen? Why would God allow that? Because this may have been your purpose. Maybe who knows what when with reincarnation is part of the real factor. Um, is what's happening. You know, really, it changes so much with that understanding and accepting reincarnation. Um, how do you deal with that now? If you've been in that kind of a situation now, I mean, I've had I know of women who've had several abortions over the years. And again, and they all regretted it. I had one man, and she was so adamant because she was so adamant how good it was for her. It was hurting her the most because she fought so hard for it to convince everybody else that it was okay because it really wasn't, and she knew it. So she's trying to convince herself. And the harder she tried, the more unconvinced she really was. Um, so I guess what I'll close up here. I wasn't sure what I was gonna. I did want to talk about isolate because it's okay to be alone right now. It's okay to isolate yourself. Um, if you're concerned that your friends may not understand, send them a note. Just say, I just need to take some downtime. I'm overstressed. I've had too much going on. Um, I just need a little time. And so, and it's okay. Or if somebody isn't letting you do that, just say, I'm sorry, I'll contact you when I want to contact you, or something like that. Don't be mean, don't be cruel, don't lower their energy either, because I think they aren't sure what's going on. Um, I'm finding myself like in my chat groups, and I'm just not active in them anymore right now because I'm just finding and this is what's giving me these thoughts because I'm trying to realize how come, I'm realizing I'm isolating myself more and more and more. I'm down to very few people I actually interact with, uh, three at the most, and four if you count Lucy. And that's it. That's all I right now. Um, and so I'm figuring out why that's happening. And I think it's because I need to get my time with God again. I've been so busy trying to get the videos made and getting, trying to understand how the programs work and uh, the quality of program and what I was going to say and not say. And it just became, it wasn't. I wasn't free. It's about my ego then, and I wasn't happy with it, and so it was causing me a lot of stress. And so I think maybe that could be part of this too with the head thing. Um, but I'm being honest. This is, so we need to kind of just find your center again. Finding your center isn't that big of a hard deal. You don't need to go through all the. There is no rituals to finding your ritual. To find your center. There's no special mantras, no special sign-ups, no special gurus. Just put yourself in a quiet room, close the door. If you have a Bible, read your Bible. Don't worry about where you open it up. Play Bible roulette. I love doing that because I always saw that when you play Bible roulette, that wherever it opens up, that's what I'm going to read. When it reads, that's my scripture for the day, and that's my contemplation. So I did that. I did that all the time. It's kind of I enjoy doing that. Sometimes it's weird. Sometimes it's really scary, spot on. Um, but just or just understand, just take out where am I in this? That's all you need to think about that. Where am I in this? Where can I see you in this, God? Where am I supposed to be? Help me understand. And just quiet. Let your mind go to rest. And if you have a simple prayer that you want to do, it doesn't have to be a big, difficult thing. Just say, or you just say, I love the God that's in me. The God in me loves the God in you. The God in me loves the God in you. The God in you loves the God in me. The God in me loves the God in you. The God in you loves the God in me. And just repeat that slowly. It's a mantra. It's simple. It just, that's the key to just keep it simple. And if you want to do a meditation, do that. I mean, just listen to soft music. I like told you I was listening to chant, Gregorian chant. I like listening to all kinds of different chants. Um, or so like the Psalm 50:51. There's a chant, absolutely beautiful. Um, so I'm gonna let this go here. I will. Should I do? I get my Bible and do a Bible roulette just to close the day. That's a cool Bible. Nice leather bound. Um, I got this actually. I've repaired it many times. The binding is all falling apart where it was. Tape and glue everywhere. But I like this Bible. It just feels good when I hang on to it. But let's see, where is it going to open up? I know where I want it to open up. I need the glasses. Oh, we're in the Second Chronicles. And we'll just go zippy zap. We'll go chapter 2, verse 1. He conscripted 70,000 men to carry stone and 80,000 to cut the stone in the mountain. And over these he placed 3,600 overseers. Moreover, Solomon sent his message to Hiram, king of Tyre, as you dealt with my father David, sending him cedars to build a house for his dwelling, so deal with me. And I intend to build a house for the honor of the Lord, my God, and to consecrate it to him, the burning of incense, or the burning of fragrant incense in his presence for the perpetual display of his snowboard, for Holocaust morning and evening, and for the Sabbath It's interesting. It's about the temple. Yeah, so that's actually in the news. Yeah, I don't know if you saw it. There's a hi Karen. There was a snake and it went after a dove that was on the wall. It just happened, I think, like last week. I don't know what to do. And then they got into all kinds of arguments about it, so I don't know what that means yet. Yeah, I was just gonna wrap it up, Karen, unless you have something you want me to talk about. Glad you're here, though. Um, yep. I don't know. I'll do one more prayer on this thingy. These always seem to be really successful for some reason. I feel like I seem to be spot on with these. Don't know if I read this one. It's March 22nd prayer. How deceitful I have been to you, my Lord Jesus. How unworthy are my desires and sinfulness of my soul truly is. Yet you have found it in your heart, my Lord, to call me into your service. You know the dark and sinful places of my heart, and you have brought me close to the light of that place. My Lord Jesus, I pray that the light burns the sinfulness from my heart, so that my heart reflects and intensifies the light of your glory, so that the world can see your glory shining from within me. Dear Mary, comfort me, while your Son cleanses my soul and places his glory in my heart. Oh, okay. Well, thanks for being here with me today, Chosen. I want to thank everybody. Whoop, just busy, just feeling beat up by, I'm too old for these. I hear you, Karen. I'm going through, my head is just, I don't know. I've been complaining about it for over a couple of weeks now. Yeah, I was talking about my ascension symptoms earlier. Before you came on, I was talking about that a bit. And I don't know. Supposedly, what I'm hearing is that there's supposed to be a major energy shift on Tuesday, the 7th. It's supposed to be the full moon. And then there's supposed to be a solar thing that's supposed to happen. I don't know. You hear all this stuff. So anything to get you. So I don't put any credence in it. I just relaying what I heard. I don't know if it's true. And if it does, what are you going to do about it? No, that's all you can do is say, okay, if it happens, okay, I'll try to survive. If it doesn't happen, okay, I'll do what I can to survive. Yeah, solar flares, yeah. No, they're knocking me out for a toll. The solar flares are. I think that's, you sent me something earlier, Chosen, about the symptoms, and I tell you, it's like I wrote that thing myself. It was, um, oh, anybody else have anything else you wanted to bring up quick, or then I've been talking now for about 45 minutes. Well, I'm gonna get going here, guys. I appreciate you join in. I really do. Please like, subscribe, share the messages on other platforms, please, if you can. I'd appreciate it. Oh, I never get a headache, but feel like my head is. Yep, that's exactly where I'm at. I was saying it's like, yeah, it's like, um, I was describing it to Chosen earlier. It's like having a heavy metal cap on your head that's two sizes too small, but it weighs, just, there's some weight to it, so it's kind of, but yeah, or you got like a bucket on your head. Everything's tinny. Um, yeah, everything is real tinny and stuff like that when you're in the head. So it's like it's nice to go for a walk, but that didn't really help much. Um, but it was nice to be out. I was able to sit outside today for the first time in quite a while. Just sit outside and just enjoy the fresh air. It was cold. It was cool. But we're gonna have. They're expecting a snowstorm here in Wisconsin overnight again. So I'll have that too. So it's gonna be all night tonight and tomorrow. Rain and snow mixed throughout the day. So today was it. Um, well, thanks, Karen. I think I'll do another one same time tomorrow if that works out. If that I can, I don't know. But we'll talk to you guys later. Have a great night. Peace. Thank you for sitting in and be at peace. I go, oh, remember, God loves you. I always love you. And we can go, swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home.